Hi, I'm Father Noah Carter. I'm one of the parochial vicars at St. Mark Catholic Church. And
I'm Michael Garnett, our Director of Sacred Music here at St. Mark, and today all we're going to do is just talk to everybody about what sacred music is and the Church's teachings on sacred music.
So sacred music in the Church is a composition which is something other than secular music or music that is given for a worldly use, but is something otherly. And there's normally characteristics with that is that you start with a sacred text, so something from scripture or tradition, and then the musical composition, in which Michael will explain here in a little bit, is that it talks about the ways in which the music is composed of forms that are holy, that are excellent, and that are universal. And so when we speak about a sacred text, every piece of sacred music, truly sacred music, starts with a text that is either from scripture or from tradition. And so scripture, meaning the readings of the Mass, the entrance antiphons, the offertory antiphons, the psalms, the different ways in which we have the scriptural elements of the Mass, and then also the traditional elements. So those traditional texts, such as the texts of the Mass themselves, the texts that have worked their way into Christian tradition, and also the texts of some of those hymns that have been incorporated into the liturgy of the hours in the divine office throughout the ages.
Qualities of sacred music. Father Carter earlier mentioned that we have holiness, excellence of forms, and universality. And these are all qualities that St. Pius X mentioned in Tra le sollecitudini. The first one is sanctity, or holiness. And all this is talking about is the music reverent for Mass, and is it worthy of the Lord? Second quality we talk about is excellence of forms, or goodness of form. And what this is talking about is the music composed in such a way that sets itself apart from secular musics and other not as well done music, whether that's sacred or secular. A way for us to think about this is if we are planning a wedding and we are picking out the caterer. Do we want something where somebody throws a bunch of things together, doesn't really prepare it, put the time in the preparation, and doesn't hone their craft in order to make a quality meal, and we're left with something without substance? Or do we want to go with somebody who has honed their craft over the years, who puts the time and the effort in to prepare something, and the end result knocks our socks off? Which of those are we going to go with? So the goodness of form not only talks about how the piece is composed, how it sets itself apart from other musics, but also in how the music itself is performed. Everything musically that goes into Mass should be done at the highest possible quality, thus making it worthy of God and His worship. With all of these elements combined, this should help elevate our hearts and elevate our minds to a profound experience of God, to really draw us closer to the mysteries that we celebrate every time we go to Mass. Finally, the third quality that we talk about is universality. And all they mean by universality is how accessible is the music to Catholics around the world? How is the music able to be shared with Catholics around the world? Now, this isn't necessarily talking about Catholics in the United States explicitly, but the entire world, right? Something that St. Pius X's document talks about when it comes to universality is how it's important that if there are compositions of sacred music indigenous of certain cultures, we should allow for that to happen, but the practice of that should not usurp the role of the music that the Church has prescribed be used in the sacred liturgy just for things that are indigenous to us ourselves.
And there's always going to be some incorporation of cultural elements,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
But it shouldn't make that piece so culturally exclusive to that place that it can't also be recognized as something that is sacred,
yes,
right? By other people who might visit, or by that group then going on pilgrimage and singing that piece. People would say, this is something that worships God.
Yes, absolutely.